All right, Shalom. First, I said, I praise to Yahweh, by Hashem Abishai, by Hashem Kakadash, double honors to the elders and the apostles that were well, and salutations to the brothers that's doing the truth and sincerity. This is Golden Dome. Trump, Hegseth announced $175 billion missile defense plan. This for the missile defense system to protect the USA from nuclear missiles. So we're going to ahead and play this video and then add some precepts. Well, I got another article that I want to show you, brothers, but then I'm going to ask some precepts.
Right now, in the run-up to this announcement having to do with the president's Golden Dome Missile Defense Initiative here. So they're going to steady their camera shot. I'm going to take it here live. We'll hear from President Trump sitting behind the Resolute desk, making this announcement alongside some of his cabinet secretaries, including Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth. Let's listen.
Thank you very much, and thank you for being here in the Oval Office, one of the great places of the world, as we make a historic announcement about the Golden Dome Missile Defense Shield. That's something we want, and Ronald Reagan wanted it many years ago, but they didn't have the technology, but it's something we're going to have. We're going to have it at the highest level. I want to thank Secretary Hegseth, who's been fantastic, and Secretary Rubio, and Space Force Vice Chief of Space Operations, General Mike Gutlein. I also want to recognize Senators Dan Sullivan, Kevin Cramer, and Jim Banks, fantastic senators, great talents, great political talents, and people that love our country. In the campaign, I promised the American people that I would build a cutting-edge missile defense shield to protect our homeland from the threat of foreign missile attack. And that's what we're doing. Today, I'm pleased to announce that we have officially selected an architecture for this state-of-the-art system that will deploy next-generation technologies across the land, sea, and space, including space-based sensors and interceptors. And Canada has called us, and they want to be a part of it. So we'll be talking to them. They want to have protection also. So, as usual, we help Canada do the best we can. This design for the Golden Dome will integrate with our existing defense capabilities and should be fully operational before the end of my term. So we'll have it done in about 3 years. Once fully constructed, the Golden Dome will be capable of intercepting missiles, even if they are launched from other sides of the world and even if they are launched from space. And we will have the best system ever built. As you know, we helped Israel with theirs, and it was very successful. And now we have technology that's even far advanced from that, but including hypersonic missiles, ballistic missiles, and advanced cruise missiles. All of them will be knocked out of the air. We will truly be completing the job that President Reagan started 40 years ago, forever ending the missile threat to the American homeland, and the success rate is very close to 100%, which is incredible when you think of it. You're shooting bullets out of the air. I'm also pleased to report that the one big, beautiful bill will include $25 billion for the Golden Dome to help construction get underway. That's the initial sort of a down deposit. And we have probably, you're talking about, General, we're talking about $175 billion total cost of this when it's completed. This afternoon, I'm also announcing that I will appoint, very importantly, General Gutlein to lead the ambitious new effort as the direct reporting program manager for the Golden Dome. Very talented man, and I'm very honored to have been the one that helped or really created Space Force. Space Force has turned out to be a tremendous success. We were third in space, and now we're number one in space by a lot. It's not even close. And Mike is a 4-star Space Force general, the recipient of the Defense Distinguished Service Medal, one of the most respected people in the world having to do with defense. You know, we have offense and we have defense. I bet he's good at offense, too.
So you think you know Wix, but do you really? First up, we've got Shake Video Man.
And he has an unmatched background in missile warning technology and defense procurement. General Gutlein also knows that we need to move fast. No one is more qualified for his job, and everybody, this was a universal acceptance of General Gutlein. everybody that knows him and knows everybody else, they said there's only one man for the job, so I have a feeling we have the right guy. But now I'd like to invite Secretary Hegseth and the General to please say a few words and describe the system a little bit. And we appreciate you being here. The press has really been very fair over the last period of a couple of months. I don't know what happened to you. It was so much more exciting the other way, but you've been very, very fair. We have very high poll numbers, the highest we've ever had. And I think we're doing a great job. We had a tremendous trip to the Middle East, as you know. It was a really amazing trip. And now I came home, and this is the one I was really looking forward to this day, because this is very important for the success and even survival of our country. It's a pretty evil world out there. So this is something that goes a long way toward the survival of this great country. And as I said, we'll be discussing Canada. They want to hook in, and they want to see if they can be a part of it. It sort of makes sense. I guess that's what I was talking about from day one. You know, it just automatically makes sense, and it won't be very difficult to do, but they'll pay their fair share. Thank you very much, everybody. And Pete, go ahead.
Sure. Well, Mr. President, add this to the long and growing list of promises made and promises kept. Ultimately, this right here, the Golden Dome for America, is game changer. It's a generational investment in the security of America and Americans. Mr. President, you said we're going to secure our southern border and get 100% operational control after the previous administration allowed an invasion of people into our country. President Reagan 40 years ago cast the vision for it. The technology wasn't there. Now it is, and you're following through to say we will protect the homeland from cruise missiles, ballistic missiles, hypersonic missiles, drones, whether they're conventional or nuclear. It's not lost on me, sir, also that you had the vision to start the Space Force. And here we are when the others said we didn't need it. Here we are in the Oval Office with one of the leaders of the Space Force in General Gutlein leading the charge on putting in place a game-changing Golden Dome for America. So, sir, it's an honor to be a part of this bold initiative. We're going to get to work on it. We have been since you signed that executive order on January 27th. We've been fast forward on this. We're here on this day, and this is just one stop in delivering this defense of the homeland, which is something you've charged us with doing, and we'll keep going until it is complete, sir.
Thank you, Pete. Pete's doing a great job, by the way. Thank you very much. General, please.
Mr. President, today is a great day for the nation as we double down on protection of the homeland. As you're aware, our adversaries have become very capable and very intent on holding the homeland at risk. While we have been focused on keeping the peace overseas, our adversaries have been quickly modernizing their nuclear forces, building out ballistic missiles capable of hosting multiple warheads, building out hypersonic missiles capable of attacking the United States within an hour and traveling at 6,000 miles an hour, building cruise missiles that can navigate around our radar and our defenses, building submarines that can sneak up on our shores, and worse yet, building space weapons. It is time that we change that equation and start doubling down on the protection of the homeland. Golden Dome is a bold and aggressive approach to hurry up and protect the homeland from our adversaries. We owe it to our children and our children's children to protect them and to afford them a quality of life that we have all grown up enjoying. Golden Dome will afford that. I greatly appreciate your trust in me and your nomination in me and your trust in the team to deliver this. It is a great day for America.
And also, very importantly, it's we're the only ones that have this. We call it super technology. Nobody else has it. And nobody else has really near what we have. So this is a very exciting project. This is something that will, the general said close to 100% protection. So that's something we need. I think it's a and everything's going to be made in the USA, by the way, very importantly. So it's something that I've been looking forward to for a long time. And I just noticed you too, Jim, you're standing there. Behind you is a very important document, Declaration of Independence. And that was in the vault for...
All right. Slacking, bear with me. All right, so yeah, that's what I'm trying to establish this Golden Dome system. 9 times out of 10, they probably already got it. When they announce new weaponry and systems and things like that, they already be having this shit in advance, a generation, 25 years plus. So them announcing it means that they already got it. You know, how do I know? Watching a lot of documentaries. A lot of documentaries tell you that that's how they move. And that's why the Lord wake brothers up at certain times to catch this information, because a lot of people are just now catching up upon this information through us, or never have heard or seen this information because they taking everything down and they trying to wrap this new world order situation up. So that's why it's always good to be humble. So like, because the Lord gonna lead His men and those who you want to know the information, whether you're His man or not. So this is what they were speaking on. The Star Wars program. They already got a defense system out there. It's even stated in Obadiah chapter 1. But this is the Strategic Defense Initiative (SDI), often referred to as Star Wars, was a proposed missile defense system announced by President Ronald Reagan in 1983. It aimed to defend the United States from attack by ballistic nuclear missiles, ultimately rendering them obsolete and ending the doctrine of mutual assured destruction. The program involved various technologies, including space-based lasers, particle beam weapons, and ground and space-based missile systems. Origins and purpose. The SDI was conceived during the Cold War as a way to protect the United States from a potential nuclear attack by the Soviet Union. Reagan envisioned a system that could intercept and destroy incoming missiles, preventing them from reaching U.S. targets. Star Wars nicknamed the program was nicknamed Star Wars due to its reliance on futuristic space-based technologies, including lasers, which were not yet developed but were proposed as part of the system. And they tried to use, if you've been paying attention, these so-called UFO videos, they used one on a so-called UFO. They shot a laser at a so-called UFO, so they got them. I don't remember if it came from space though. Now that I think about it, but they got them laser weapons. They even used them laser weapons on Zebulon. It's the documentary is called The Panama Deception. It says the SDI research program explored various technologies, including space-based laser systems. The concept of using lasers in space to destroy missiles was a key element of the program. Particle beam weapons. These weapons would use accelerated particles to destroy missiles, ground, and space-based missile systems. These systems would use missiles to intercept and destroy incoming threats. Impact on the Cold War. The SDI played a significant role in the Cold War, influencing Soviet arms control negotiations and contributing to the eventual end of the Cold War. Legacy. While the SDI was not fully implemented, it spurred significant research and development in missile defense technology. Some elements of the program have re-emerged in recent years, including the Space Development Agency, SDA. Right. So, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get some of these precepts, because even though the U.S. has this system and as advanced as they say it is, it's still not gonna work now. Them Russian missiles are going to get through the U.S.'s missile defense shields. because the spirit of the Lord is going to be in the missiles. And this is Ezekiel chapter 38, verse 1. And the word of the Lord Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, Russia, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against him, and say, Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, Behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws. Right. The Lord put spirit on the Russians to have that former USSR spirit. They went around and made pacts with the former USSR members, whom they all are in cahoots. And the last piece, or one of the last pieces, I think there's only two left, was Ukraine, because Ukraine was an important piece to that USSR, and then there was another nation. But yeah, that spirit has come back upon Putin. And I will bring thee forth and all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. Right, to battle against who? The USA. And as you can see, that the Third World War has already started. It's just not as hot as it's going to eventually get. But yeah, so Persia, which is Iran, Ethiopia, and Libya, with them, all of them with shield and helmets. That's their military might, military capabilities. Their missiles and tanks and um, jets and things of that nature. Gomer and all his bands, House of Togomar of the North Quarters, and that's the former USSR members, and all his bands, and many people with thee. Right, so it's a lot of nations that have joined unto the Russians, BRICS nations, as well as other nations coming together. Be thou prepared and prepare for thyself and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. So Russia is a guard unto these nations, a protector unto these nations. That's why when the U.S. got something to say about North Korea, Russia got something to say. That's why when who was it? Syria with Assad, Russia had something to say. He had his military there. Libya with Gaddafi, Russia had something to say about that situation. Iran, Russia is in support of Iran. Turkey, now these BRICS nations, China, etc. So they all coming together to fight this battle of Armageddon against the USA. See, those are members that are a part of the bands that's with many people that's with Russia. After many days thou shalt be visited, in the later years thou shalt come into the land that is brought back from the sword, and is gathered out of many people against the mountains of Israel, which have been always waste, but is brought forth out of the nations, and they shall dwell safely, all of them. It says, Thou shalt sin and come like a storm, thou shalt be like a cloud to cover the land, thou and all thy bands, and many people with thee. Thus said the Lord Yahweh, it shall also come to pass that at the same time shall things come into thy mind, and thou shalt think an evil thought. And the evil thought gonna be what? To press that button to shoot the nuclear missiles. And thou shalt say, I will go up to the land of unwalled villages. That's America. Unwalled villages. The walls protect the village. America defense system, basically, even though they have one, is not going to work. I will go to them that are at rest, that dwell safely, right? The U.S. is dwelling safely. Don't no nation trifle with the U.S., so to speak, or haven't in the past. It says all of them dwelling without walls and having neither bars nor gates, right? So the U.S. does have a missile defense system, but it's not going to work. This Golden Dome It's not gonna work. They already got this shit established. They just letting everybody know now. You know. Okay, bear with me, Salaki. Verse 8. Let me read verse 8 again. Ezekiel 38:8. It says, after many days thou shalt be visited in the later years. Thou shalt come into the land that is brought back from the sword and is gathered out of many people against the mountains of Israel. Right. That nation of Israel gonna get missiles shot on them also. The Russians gonna come against them also, which have been always waste, but is brought forth out of the nations, and they shall dwell safely, all of them. This is Nahum chapter 3, verse 1. It says, woe, meaning destruction, to the bloody city. It is all full of lies. Uh, America is a bloody city, and it's full of lies. Everybody knows that the U.S. has lied about its founding, who we are, etc. Nationalities. It says it is all full of lies and robbery. The prey departeth not. We are the prey. We are being preyed upon by the nations. Now I'm going to jump to verse 13. Behold, thy people in the midst of thee are women. People in the midst of the U.S. Army are women. The gates of thy land shall be set wide open unto thine enemies. Right? The gates, the gates protect, keep the enemies out. They're going to be set wide open. Meaning that even though they got these missile defense shields, Space Force, the Dome, Star Wars program, whatever you want to call them, it's not going to work. It says, behold, thy people in the midst of thee are women. These men in the U.S. Army are women, and even got men that wanting to be actual women, transgenders. And I think Trump passed a law to get their ass out the military. It says, the gates of thy land shall be set wide open unto thine enemies. Set wide open. The Lord's Spirit gonna be in the missiles, and they're not gonna be able to stop the missiles from hitting this place. The fire shall devour thy bars. America's gonna be destroyed, man. This is Obadiah chapter 1, verse 1. The vision of Obadiah, thus says Lord Yahweh concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from the Lord, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise, ye, and let us rise up against her in battle. This is Abdul Nasser, the former Egyptian president, wanted to rise up against the U.S. It says, behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised. Right? The heathen, the nations, hate these white people, man. Ultimately, I mean, well, America's part of their system, so to speak. But America's hated by these nations, man. Even their own allies are starting to hate them. From these tariffs to the sanctions to the U.S. dollar, damn near collapsing and bringing economies to their knees, fucking up people. Got people, nations rioting, amongst other things. It says, the pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rocks. America is Rock City. These buildings, sidewalks is made from what? Rock. Their habitation, Mount Sayar, Mount Seir. It's a resemblance. Whose habitation is high, these skyscrapers, that saith in his heart or in his mind, who shall bring me down to the ground? Right, America thought that they were going to be brought down to the ground. Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and that's the American symbol, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, the nest is the Star Wars program. You see, they named it Star Wars, stars, it links right up with Obadiah. That's why I bring thee down, saith the Lord Yahweh. And they even trying to put something new up there. Some far more advanced. Well, they already got some far more advanced. They just keep advancing and shit. But the Lord been bringing them down ever since they put that Star Wars program up there. It says, okay, yeah, no, that's all I wanted on that precept. This is Jeremiah chapter 51, verse 1. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, behold, I will rise up against Babylon, which is America, and against them that dwell in the midst of them that rise up against me, a destroying wind. That's the nuclear missile. And I will send unto Babylon, which is America, fanners that shall fan her, and shall empty her land. For in the day of trouble they shall be against her round about. They're going to empty this place. The missile's going to make America desolate. It ain't going to be nothing left here. It's going to be a desolate land. Against him that bendeth, let the archer bend his bow. That's the nuclear missiles. And against him that lifteth himself up in his brigandine, that's his armor, and spare ye not her young men, destroy ye utterly all her hosts. That's the Russians. Gonna shoot missiles on America, but right as well as other nations. They're gonna kill everybody that's gonna be over here, left over here. Thus the slain shall fall in the land of the Chaldeans, which is another way of saying America, and they that are thrust through in her streets. For Israel hath not been forsaken, nor Judah of his God, of the Lord Yahweh of hosts. It's like you're right. Starting with the elect though. The elect gonna be delivered from the missiles. For Israel hath not been forsaken, nor Judah of his God, of the Lord Yahweh of hosts, though their land was filled with sin against the Holy One of Israel. Right, so that's the judgment that's coming to USA, regardless of this fence system. I'll have to, I have to look up that precept where it said the Spirit of the Lord is going to be in the missiles, man. Because it actually says that the Spirit of the Lord is going to be in the missiles and guide the missiles to where He wants them to hit them. I think it's in Revelations, but I'll get that later. With that being said, call Lord Yahweh by Shem Shai, by Shem Kakadash, double honors to the elders and the apostles that rule well, and salutations to the brothers that's doing the truth and sincerity. Shalom.